Hey Fabi, what do you think about uranium in this rally post the Cameco announcement?
Look, I'm kind of weird about uranium because I like it so much that every time it seems like it's gonna, like really take off, I'm like, no, 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 please hold off a little bit. I need to buy some more. And so, because of that, December, I plan on going out and Christmas shopping for uranium to add to some positions and get into smaller uranium plays. There are some uranium companies that are, it's like the Wild West. They're tiny. They don't have that much going for them, comparatively, because, today we have the next gens of the world. So huge deposits, amazing grade, safe jurisdiction. You have everything going for it. But, look at the market cap. Is it going to be a
Mm.
multiple bagger from here? That's the approach I take. And so next gen for me is the kind of stock that I would tell my mom to buy and hold it for a number of years, and then you're going to do very well. But I'm starting to look at the smaller plays, and I'm trying to think, okay, if what happened in the gold sector were to happen in the uranium sector, who are the tiny market caps that I would want to take a look at now, and maybe even get into private placements, and get those warrants and maximize the gains in the sector, because in the uranium sector, because the recent announcement by Cameco to I guess decrease production, you could say, for sure. It was taken very well by the market, and there was an immediate jump both in the spot price and in the in the share price of these uranium companies. The thing is, yeah, okay, the spot price is reacting to this just like it reacted when the Kazakhs said that they would decrease production way back when they did. But is that going to affect the long-term contracts that the companies are signing? And I think that that's something that we're going to have to watch for the next few months. I think there are a lot of contracts that are up for renewal next year, or so I hear. And I think that's really going to dictate whether this is just a false start and a buying opportunity for me, or if this is really, like the fundamental start for a uranium bull market. I just don't know. The only thing I know is that the story is too good to pass up. So this is why I buy uranium. I don't think the fundamental story has changed. Yes, Japan startups are, a lot slower than one would have imagined a few years ago. But at the end of the day, I see a lot of, countries on the rise planning, permitting, and having, like real plans for new reactors. So what does that tell you about, demand? On the supply side, I think, how much more supply destruction can you get from producers? A lot of people are taking the plug off, switching off, shutting down. I don't know at which point you say, okay, enough is enough, we're not producing much as it is. But on the demand side, I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't know if Japan, having more reactors reactivated, so to speak, would do it, or maybe if something changed. I don't know if China all of a sudden came out with a lot more reactors than were previously announced, because I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I love the story now more than ever. But yeah, looking at smaller companies, I'm looking at placements, and it's hard for me to really get excited about much else besides
Hmm.
besides uranium and gold, because the gold sector has been forgotten by the people who are usually in the gold sector. And that's so attractive to me. Like when I see prices go down and I
Mm.
see that, companies like Sarama, just at such delicious prices, I'm like, okay, this is it. This is the moment to buy. This is not the moment to be down on it. And so uranium and, like gold, um, like tiny caps. Whenever I look at those things, there's that opportunity cost. Every time I want to get into cobalt or lithium or whatever else, I know that is a huge trend and will continue to be for the next decade or whatever. You know, I I'm it's harder for me to get into that, although I want to, but it's more fear of missing out because every time I try to research a little bit about those other, battery metals, it's like, oh, okay, so this company has already, ran up 10 times. Where's the upside? Where do I come in and make my 10 times, And so I have to put those on my list and then watch them, see where the excitement just dies off, or maybe fingers crossed. I know it's not very good to hope for this, but I really hope for a general market crash. I just do. For the S&P to just come down in half. I don't know, 40%. That would be good enough for me.
Well, while you're saying that, Fabi, the Dow Jones is up 300 points today. So.
Of course it is. That the farther we go, the bigger the fall. But that's just the thing. If something like that happens, then for some companies, they'll just go down because the market's going down. But with the tiny gold companies, that doesn't happen very much. And so that just, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. What's going on in the markets right now is really interesting. But I think this is the time. This is 2017 for me has been a year of opportunity and just realizing that I need to go back to what I've invested in and, like really get more serious about, okay, what percentage of my portfolio should be in this versus that? How have I, as a speculator, performed with this concept versus that concept? And accordingly, how much should I, put into each of those baskets? Because you could easily get very distracted. Oh, cobalt is really hot. Let's put some money in now. And then something happens, you lose a few percentage points, and then you're all of a sudden like, well, uranium is really hot right now. Let's go and put the money into that. And then uranium dies down, and so I think 2017 is the time for just knowing thyself and getting a better game plan and being disciplined. I am not disciplined enough, but my game plan is very fluid. So I think I would benefit. 2018 hopefully will be a more disciplined year for me. We'll see.
I'll comment. Try to keep it brief because I don't have much to say on uranium. I did buy a little more next gen on the recent dip, and I was happy to. I don't want to put too much into it, but because like you, it's something I'm gonna hold for a while. I do expect to take out a next gen. That's one of the few where it just seems like it's inevitable, but will it be a year from now, or will it be 2 or 3 years from now? But I've got a decent amount there, and when there's dips, I just try to buy a bit more. I'm not really looking at other uranium plays, partially because I feel like the research involved for uranium is a little more different than gold or copper.